you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
All right, so I've been thinking, I want to give you guys a little bit of update what's going on with the Camaro. And to be totally honest, I'm pulling the Honda engine out. I want to make some power, and I had a lot of fun when it was 5.3 V8. You know, I worked at the Honda dealership, and I mean, who's not going to try and get a deal when you work there? And all my friends had Kswappes and B-swaps or whatnot. And honestly, it was really fun at the time. And yeah, I accomplished something and got something done differently. But I really, really know that taking the money and doing something with a Kswap and going fast like I want to, it's not going to work. It takes way too much money to make a Honda have the torque that a V8 would. So with that being said, I'm putting a V8 back in the car, but not just any V8. I'm going to show you what it is. I want to thank everybody that was here for the Kswapped Camaro project. You know, I really appreciate it. I had fun doing it, and yeah, we swapped the car, but here's the thing. It's just not the direction I want to go with it. I have a lot of fun going to drag racing events and stuff, and I want to do it too. So to be competitive and compete in classes, you're limited at that point. You may watch Cooper Baghetti's videos. He's got an awesome car. It's 2J swap, you know, lots of power, and that's awesome. But you're limited on categories and certain things you can run, and I would be even more limited because it's way less power. And you know, me and him talk. He's an awesome dude. You know, on certain classes, you can't run an import motor in a domestic chassis. I mean, there's certain classes that just won't even let you run a non-OEM engine, you know, which that limits you. So with that being said, I have that V8, and I can't wait to show it to you. It's not one you've seen before. So it's going to be really exciting. And again, thanks to everybody that was here for the Kswap, and we're going to do something else. I hope you'll stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you like power and you like going fast, buckle up, because we're about to go fast.
This is the 6.6 liter L8T out of a 2022 vehicle. This thing has 401 horsepower, 462 foot-pounds of torque, and it has 401 cubic inch. So 1 horsepower per cubic inch. That's how they used to measure power back in the day. And I'm excited to have such a nice new engine. I mean, this thing is super clean. Look at this. Look at that. That's dummy clean. It still has the grease on the electrodes, but this thing is super nice. It has direct injection. I'm not going to use any of that. This is all going to go away. Going to convert from direct injection, which is where it goes straight into the cylinder, the combustion chamber, versus port injection, which we're all familiar with. It's totally different design, which means the intake manifold that came with this is somewhere in a trash pile somewhere. And we're going to have to switch over to either Holley or BTR or something like that. The truck pan, van pan, whatever you want to call them, is exactly the same as the old ones were, 7 inches. So gonna need to get an oil pan, which I just happen to have over there. That's 5 1/4. And I also have an engine plate. It's gonna go on the front of this. So it'll be super race car. And I got some other goodies coming too. So you'll see those real soon. So the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and convert this and get rid of this valley cover. It's got this big old thing for the oil, whatever this is. Technical term, insert here. But I've got some new billet stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on and have some fun working on my new engine. And what are these? 13. So here's the deal. This is direct injection. This shoots directly into the combustion chamber. The problem with this is that it's extremely high PSI. I mean, you saw me messing around with this and trying to pry it up. I mean, it's held down by 13s all the way down. This is not your standard, what we're all used to, what I'm used to, Honda stuff too. So this has a mechanical pump that runs off of a lifter that's inside of here, which I'll show you here in a little bit. It runs off of a cam. It's its own dedicated lifter. And that's what causes this crazy pressure for this direct injection. Your valves get really dirty. Some people will argue and say you can control pressures and this and that. I ain't with that. I'm trying to drive and have fun. So not only is it high pressure, but it's high dollar. So if I wanted to get, with direct injection, if I wanted to ramp this up and get all the fuel out of it, which you can, it's going to run you $4,500 roughly, somewhere in that area, and $4,500 will make you bad fast with regular old school style port injection, with your regular injector style. So, and plus this injector pump is broken, so this is going in the trash. So this is the gasket that was on there, and this is that spring for that pump, and the lifter is all up in here. I can't fiddle with it, but I'm taking this valley cover off so you'll see it here in a minute. That's a beefy spring, man.
Improper removal technique.
Damn, how many yards did I just lose? That's crazy. I can't buy the ref. All right. Let's see how this is gonna pop off. Oh, just like that. Get these out of here real quick so I don't drop any. They don't. That's supposed to go. O-ring style. Look how soft that is. That's that 2022. Look at that. Boing, 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 boing. That's that 2022. What you know about that? Look at how clean that is. Sheesh. Look at this cam. Sheesh. That looks like a sub 20,000 mile cam to me. This is aluminum, yeah, it's cool or whatever, but this hump, man, you can't deal with that with some cool intake manifold. Especially you go port injection, you gotta change everything up. Plus, I want to cut the hood on HOSS, so let's put some billet in here. There's that lifter that was over that spring. So let me take that out real quick. Everything's lucky number 13 on this thing. So there's that lifter. You see that? That's that low miles. So that rolls, that pushes that spring, that actuates that injection pump, that builds your high pressure. In order to delete that, you have to plug that hole off, because that lifter is no good for nothing. I'm not gonna use it for nothing. That hole's done. So I plug that off, and ICT billet makes a cool little piece that I snagged up. There's your part number, 551965-plug. So I guess you could say I found the plug. Let me cut this open. That's it there, and put some O-rings on it. Comes with a whole bunch of O-rings. The holder. O-rings and hardware. These two O-rings will go here and here on these landings. And then this landing will be for the actual receptacle to hold it, and then the bolt will go in the stock location. Slipped over one. Drop it onto the other one. Slip that on. Drop it into the hole. 1, 2, and it lines up. So then now you just put your bolt in. Just make sure you check your kit from ICT. I sent them a message about it. Sometimes the bolt that they send will not go all the way through, so you may have to machine that little hole a little bit, but that's cool. You just pop this right out, put it in a vise, and make that hole just a little bit bigger. You just sent me a 10. Yeah, so the stock one that come out was a 13, and ICT sends you a 10. There you go. I ain't going nowhere. Oil pressure sensor adapter port for Gen 5 LT. That's what the bag says anyway. 551166. That's the part number. This piece is so you can run your oil pressure sensor off the front without having a mountain, like a big coming off of the valley cover billet. Nice piece you got. They mark it right there. See that? So you have to drill that out. That's where it goes. Can you see that? The pressure's coming off of that. That's where it's getting its reading. So you have to drill it. I would assume you have to drill it about that size. I'm gonna look at the bottom of this piece here that they sent. Let's see here. Rip this thing open. I'll pick that up. I'm not a litter bug. So that's the opening it has. So I'm looking at that big of a hole. I'm guessing that's how big of a hole I have to put in that. This is only instructions with the valley plate said that the spot where you're gonna drill is gonna be pre-marked. So they center punched it pretty good, and I guess I'm gonna have to drill a hole that size. So time to drill some stuff. So that little dimple was right there, and took a really long step bit and went all the way through. And the cool thing about step bit, it kind of chamfers and deburrs the hole for you. Did that on that side too. And by going right where they said it was, ta-da! You can see that there. Perfect. Now, I'll put this down first, make sure all the O-rings, good to go. Slide that down. And then I gotta get the O-ring for this. This has its own O-ring. Boop, boop. And then you're gonna have 2 leftover bolts because you're gonna use the long ones to go in here. So you're not gonna have to worry about nothing. It goes up like this, like so. You run your sensor right off the front. It's nice. It's got a brush finish. It didn't have that, like, when I saw this on the website, it didn't have that brush finish. And I guess that's cool or whatever. Some people like that, some people don't. I like a nice piece of just straight billet, not with this machining stuff on it. Preferably plain or whatever. But I guess you could take the time and polish it, make it nice, whatever. It's decent. It's just a solid piece of aluminum. So I like it. It was cheap. That's why I went with it. The oil pressure sensor off the old valley cover, you can reuse it. Save you some money. Turn that thing on there just like so. I guess you can't. No, you can't reuse it because look, it hits the head of it, the wall hits the.
It does hit the.
Yeah, hits it.
Huh.
That's lame.
So that means we're gonna have to trim that down.
That one piece on the cover.
Yeah, we either trim the cover down or you trim the sensor.
I'm gonna trim that piece of the cover off. Right now. So that's pretty nice. It's a lot nicer than what was there. See this?
And necessary to go port injection.
Mm-hmm. Very necessary. Now I want to do my oil pan. Before I swap oil pans, I'm going to drain this and get everything out of it and clean it all up and get it ready for the new oil pan. All right, so the oil pan's off, a little bit of prying and draining and all that. And the pan has the oil pickup part of the pan, see that? And you have the O-ring right there. I'm gonna use the pan to point at it. You see that right there? Right there? That's that little black O-ring. So that's your oil pump there. It pulls off of this, and then there's a pickup tube that goes all the way underneath that windage tray. While this is off, look at this beautiful 6.6 liter forged crank. That is gorgeous. Low miles, 2022. 6-bolt mains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have that strong reliability you're used to. And all this is really low miles, so I'm just gonna send it just like it is. I mean, it's freaking flawless. So I'm gonna stick with that and make tons of torque. All right, so here's it all cleaned up. I got all the gasket material off of there. And it wasn't hard, it's only been on it for 20,000 miles. But there, if you look deep in there, let me see if it'll focus in there. Yeah, right there, those little things, those are oil squirters. They squirt the skirt of the piston inside there, keep it all nice and lubricated. I mean, look how nice that is. This ain't no, man, come on, dog. Look at this. You can't, I'm being reserved, but I'm very ecstatic about how nice this is. Look in there, you can see the cam. If it'll focus, yeah, a little something, something. You can see another oil squirter. Look at that. Whew. This thing's gonna be a lot of fun. So the old pan and the new pan have the same design where like the rest of the pickup tube and everything is assembled in the pan, and then you just bolt the pan up.
A few moments later.
I'm good with that. A lot shorter too. The drain plug is on the side. No more speed bump deletes. Nice pan. I like it. So oil pan's on there. A lot shorter. It's 1.5 inches shorter, if I'm not mistaken.
Way shorter up here.
Yeah, way shorter. So, how dare you? How dare you flip me off? Oh. So, got a little rubber plug that comes with just to plug the dipstick off until it's done. Here's some measurements. Not bad.
And then where's the second big section?
The second big section is right there. 2, and it slopes down to 2.5-ish, 2 3/4 at the very most, and the big part
5.5.
5.5, yeah, not bad. So that's the solution to clearing F-body subframe, whatever you call it. I got the BMR, so you've seen it before. I'm gonna flip this thing up, and that's a good night's work. You know, got some stuff done. Got the ICT billet valley cover done. Got the delete done for the injection pump. Got the oil relocation, oil pressure sensor adapter thingy majigger hooked up. Got our nice clearanced oil pan, real low. You saw the numbers earlier. Looks nice, nice and clean. You saw inside the engine. Looks really good. So it's gonna make some power, and it's gonna be clean power. Don't have to worry about nothing old, no beat up stuff, and keep doing nice stuff to it. So thanks for coming back. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, I appreciate everybody that supported it before, but if you want to go fast, like I said, stick to this, because this is where it's at. So we'll see you next time.